think we're recording.
We're recording now?
I think so. I need to turn my mic on.
There we go. Now I hear you. Yeah, now I hear you. All right.
Hi, everyone. Our first. Okay.
First podcast. We're trying it out, getting the technical difficulties, getting the kinks worked out. We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Oh my gosh, years.
Years. But career and life and things. But we finally, the moon's aligned. So here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are, the moon's aligned.
So this is our first. It might be a little messy, a little tricky, but here we are finally.
Yeah, here we are.
So Midweek Vibes, welcome.
Welcome. You want to explain a little bit what we're going to be doing?
So James and I, as a lot of you guys know, we're therapists in Columbus. And all of this we have to preface is for entertainment purposes only. Although we are licensed and credentialed, this is not meant to replace the professionals in your life. This is not meant to be medical advice. This is not meant to be clinical advice. We're sharing information that we've gained over the years of therapy as therapists. The information and education knowledge that we've gleaned from being in this career field, in this field. Addiction recovery, mental health, wellness, holistic health, functional health, just day-to-day living, especially in this environment, politically, what's going on with the world, blah, blah, blah. There's so much energy, good and bad, happening. So we hope to give some folks some ideas about what to do next and how to just live a good life. But there's no replacement for talking to a clinical therapist or being with a therapist or with a medical professional one-on-one.
Absolutely. And we just also want to be for support as well. Doing this every Wednesday, if you, if you want to follow us, and we, like you say, we're going to talk about a lot of different topics that do affect the mental health. And, if you're struggling with some things, we can also point you in that right direction and get you resources and things of that nature as well. So, but basically for entertainment and for, just for support. We're here for support. I'm going to draw a lot on my own experience as well, not only as a clinician, but also being in addiction for 26 years and going through my own life struggles. So I've not only been on the clinical side, I've also been on the addiction side and throughout my life, so I'll be pulling on a lot of that as well. So
I think we have so many personal stories to share.
Yeah.
And the people that we've helped along the way. Oh
Absolutely.
My gosh, it's about to get interesting.
Absolutely. And we're planning on having guests come in and speak and tell their stories as well, and for encouragement and hope. And so we just want to reach a population that we feel is underserved. And in our careers, we've ran across a lot of people just out for the money as well. And, we really, and we've worked together for over 15 years now, and we care, and we pour into our clients, and we want to make sure that they have the best. And we do that in life in general as well, but we've ran across a lot of things that are not right.
Specifically, if you want to just get into it, last week we talked about topics that we were going to cover as we do this. And one of the things that came up, and I'm actually dealing with that right now with one of my people, is MAT, medication-assisted treatment.
Yes.
Where do we begin with that? First of all, you cannot be on those medications for the rest of your life. They're just getting you addicted to something new.
Yes, I agree.
It is what it is, man.
It is.
And I've heard, I don't know from personal experience, but I've seen it a lot, that getting off Suboxone is harder and more painful than getting off of heroin. It's what I've been told.
Yeah, the withdrawal symptoms. And let's start with Suboxone was designed just to be in a detox setting. That you went in, if you were struggling with heroin and you went into a detox setting, it was designed to help you ease those withdrawals over a 5 to 7 day period. And it was never designed or meant to be something that you're on for the rest of your life. And we've encountered and worked with different people over the years that have told clients that they will be on it for the rest of their life, and that's just absolutely false. You don't have to be. So I think we
It's a new drug dealer.
It's a new drug dealer. I've seen it firsthand. So, and same with methadone. Those things they're not meant for life.
Have you heard of that new shot? Something about it. You could get a shot, and it helps you titrate off the medication in over 4 months, and eventually you don't have to go through the withdrawals.
The Vivitrol shot?
No,
Oh.
it's
I haven't
something
heard
not FDA approved yet.
Okay. No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
I've had a lot of success with the Vivitrol shot, though, with clients with being on the Vivitrol
What,
shot.
titrating?
Yeah.
While they're titrating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, being on the Vivitrol shot for several months until, they're able to acclimate back into life and do the things they need to do.
So one of my biggest challenges right now is going through the pain.
Mm-hmm.
The pain of getting off the Suboxone. It's scary. I wouldn't want to do that.
It is scary. It is, and it's from what I hear, it's a lot worse than being on the heroin and getting off the heroin.
So how do you convince somebody to go to treatment that's trying to get off of opiates?
Yeah.
The pain of opiate,
Well, I always talk about the consequences. Anytime you put something in your body for that long, there's going to be some consequences to it. There's going to be some pain we're going to have to feel and go through. But if you're doing that medically in a detox setting, you should not feel as much as you would if you just try to, do it
I'm
yourself.
going to play devil's advocate.
Okay, all right.
So you say, okay, I agree to go to treatment, but that'll be $1,600 a day.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. Well, we try to get you insurance and get you signed up for insurance to where you can get it. And
Does Medicaid cover that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, detox.
And do they help people detox off of Suboxone? Because do I need to be strung out on opiates or drunk walking in the door? Or are they going to be like, hey, I'm going to take mercy on you and come on in, we're going to help you detox off of Suboxone? Because Suboxone, you're not in active chaos.
Great question. And there are places that will, and not all, but there are
and
places.
we're in Columbus, Ohio, by the way.
Columbus, Ohio, yes.
Yeah.
You have to check in your city if those things, but there are places that do, and you can say, I want to detox off the Suboxone and the methadone, and they will help with that. And insurance does cover that. Yeah, but it's tough because people are programmed to think that they're going to be on this for the rest of their life, or they need it. And now I see a lot of methadone clients getting it for pain as well. So if they're, having pain and stuff, they will give them methadone for pain as well.
That's a business.
And I've always said, now you can trade Suboxone on the street for drugs. Drug dealers will take Suboxone and trade for heroin, because, that it's another, if you take enough, you can get high. So I have seen that as well. So.
I think one of the biggest issues, from what I've seen in recovery, is going through the pain of it, leaving my job for 30 days, and then is it going to be covered under insurance? Because I don't know anybody that can afford $1,600 a day.
Right. And that's the big challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've sat in emergency rooms with people just completely so sick, and they're on death's doorstep, and I've sat for 4 or 5 hours trying to find some place for them to go, and even private good insurance doesn't cover it. How is anybody, you're gonna have to second mortgage your house just to get treatment? So what do we tell those people?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to hang on tight and a little bit of faith, and just every single day we're just gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do they go? What do they do? I don't know what to tell people. And we've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. So in my experience, I've been trying to get people get them some insurance. They
have insurance.
They have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So private, we're talking about, or Medicaid? Oh, okay. So that doesn't cover that.
$1,600 a day.
Oh man.
That's what they're quoting. See, you come from a different category population of people because you work more with Medicaid.
Absolutely.
I've been working with private insurance, a lot of people with commercial insurance. So unfortunately, in the commercial insurance world, like that'll be $1,600 a day.
Wow.
Not just a detox. Oh, and by the way, levels of care. Let's talk about levels of care for a second, because a lot of people don't understand. Like, if I go to treatment, what's that look like? And so there are levels of care, right? And a lot of people don't know what that means. Like
Absolutely.
levels of care. So somebody decided in the insurance world, level of care is detox. First, we got to get you sober, medically sober. So. And also, for those of you that are watching us, and Uncle John is addicted to alcohol, and we got to get him sober. Just because you want somebody that you love to get sober from alcohol doesn't mean they can just stop using alcohol. It's actually dangerous for them to just stop. They could seize. Really bad things could happen. So detox is a level of care where they're getting medically treated to get off of alcohol.
Absolutely.
And then the next level of care is you're inpatient for 30, 60, 90. But then some inpatient programs are keeping people up to 6 months. I've seen.
Me too. Yeah.
So we're going to stay on levels of care, but I'm going to jump around a little bit too. Is it better to send someone to treatment out of state? Right?
Right, yeah. Well, we take us with us, so.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Medicaid, you can't.
Yeah.
But if it's private insurance,
you can.
Why would you send someone out of state? I know I have my reasons, but what do you think?
Well, it would have to be a really extraordinary program for me to want to send them out of state. I think we have some great programs here too, and so I've always been under the thing that I take me wherever I go, and so and sometimes they don't have that support system when you go out of state, like family, if there's family still in their life, and
see, that's why I do send people out of state, because you're not going anywhere.
Right.
Like, you're gonna have to stay where you are, because now you're 4 states away from anybody that's going to pick you up because they feel bad for the
That's true
trouble
too.
you're going through.
Yeah. If you got an enabling family, it's detrimental. But if you got a supportive family, it can be a benefit for you.
I've seen dealers pick people up from treatment.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Meet them outside.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah. So, but if it's a good program and got good results, then out of state would be a good option for them. So for sure.
Do you know what else I hear people say? Well, then I can't talk to my family. Or what do you mean I can't have my phone?
Right. You don't need it for that, though. But there was a lot of bad things going on in Florida with them bringing them down there and then paying them to get high to bring them back, and there was a lot of bad things. And those, they've been on the news and different shows, so there's a lot of bad things going on down there just to get their payment. So yeah. So you got to be careful. But also with that,
in choosing a facility.
Choosing a facility. But with that also, the person has to be ready. I know for many years I was court ordered to treatment. I went because I wanted to save a marriage. I went because my kids didn't love me anymore. So I wanted to get sober for all the wrong reasons. Well, let's rephrase that. I didn't want to get sober. I was trying for all the wrong reasons. And so all those attempts failed. So I didn't get sober until I really wanted it, because I was going to die and I wanted my life back. And so that's when I found success. So, like you said, if you have family members, if you're trying to do it for that, God bless you. But you got to really want it for yourself to be there and stay there.
Do you know, when I first met you, that was my introduction to the addiction world. And that's where it picked me. I fell in love with addiction recovery.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you said to me earlier in our careers was, Virginia, you can't want it more than the client.
Yep. Yep.
And I have never forgot that you like, wait, am I working harder than them for their recovery? Yes. Back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was me too as an early clinician. I just ran in and I'm going to save everybody's life. And and it breaks your heart, when you have that first client leave out on you or, even pass away. It's like you take that on. It's heavy for you. So yeah, those was early milestones.
So that's the other thing. Just because you want somebody to go to treatment and recovery, and maybe they do, but are they doing it for the right reason? Because if they're truly not ready, they're going to come out and the likelihood of a relapse is really, really high. And we see that all the time too.
Yeah.
So back to the levels of care. So detox is one level, and then probably you're going to be inpatient is the next level, and then you're going to be partial hospitalization, which means that you're going to go, 3, 6, 9, what, 24 hours? Anyway, it's like you're in the hospital still, but you get to come home at night. So it's like testing the waters. Are you able to get out there and be sober and maintain sobriety and wellness and get back into the groove of being with your family? And then you step down yet again to intensive outpatient treatment, which is 9 to 12 hours a week. So you get to go back to your jobs, go back to your family and do all the things. And then there's sober living where if you're not safe at home, and then the environment, maybe I've had people living right next door to the trap house.
Yeah.
And like, how am I supposed to stay sober if my dealer is right next door? So then there's sober living, and you can be there for 6 months to a year. So there's levels of care in recovery. And I think that the world at large doesn't understand the process of, it's a long process. It's not, you go to get recovery, come back in 30 days, and you're great. That's not how this works. The likelihood of a relapse averages 12 times.
Yeah.
So you gotta love people through it, but not enable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and let's start with this. Putting the drugs and alcohol down is the easy part. That's the easy part.
You gotta meet yourself.
You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. You gotta understand who you are. You gotta try to figure out the motivators why you use drugs and alcohol. And that's the work, The easiest part for me was putting the drugs and alcohol down.
It turns out you're addicted to escape.
Yep, I'm addicted to a lot of things, I found out. And scared of life. I was just point blank scared of life. And it made me somebody I wasn't. It turned me into whatever I wanted to be.
Is addiction the addict's fault?
Good question. I believe that for me, my experience is, if I would have never took that first drink or indulged, I would have been an addict, right? I believe it was in me. Because some people...
Say more about that.
So I believe that it was in my genes. My father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic, and so on and so forth. And many people in my family are. And so I believe I activated it. If I wouldn't have activated, obviously I wouldn't have been. But there's people that can go out socially on the weekends and have a drink and have fun and never touch it again. My mother, she can go out on New Year's and have a drink and, have fun and never again for the rest of the year. And so that really makes me mad. But anyway, so...
Why can't I be a normal drunk?
Yeah, so I believe, it was amazing.
And I don't mean that in any kind of derogatory way. I hate the word addict. Yep. I wish there was a magic pill that could cure everybody of this horrible disease. I wish that alcohol wasn't on every corner. I wish it wasn't on street billboards. I wish it wasn't on commercials. I wish. I too come from a long, long line of people that have the disease of addiction. And is addiction a disease?
I believe so.
Yeah, and the evidence proves out, because we now have MRIs. We can look at brains. We now know the relationship is dopamine and serotonin, and we'll cover the science of addiction another day. But
yes, I believe so. I believe it was in my genes. I believe that it was passed on to me. And I believe that the people get it from that way, and it is a disease. I believe, because as long as I don't put a drink or a drug in me, I'm normal. You know, I can navigate life now after 15 years in recovery. But even tomorrow, if I take a drink, it's going to activate it again. It's going to activate it. So.
You know what I hear in my head? The universe is saying, well, what about porn addiction? What about gambling addiction? What about addiction to gaming and addiction to phones and addiction to, like, how do we explain that? Because there's no chemical we're ingesting.
Sure.
But it's still addiction.
And my definition of addiction is if it's causing consequences in your life, then you might need to take a look at it. And a porn addiction, for example, can cause you your marriage. It can cause your relationship with your kids. It can cause you to do destructive behaviors. Watching porn can lead to prostitution. It can lead to, you know, risky behaviors, and then maybe put yourself, you know, catch a disease or something like that. So I think that there's consequences to your actions. If you're shopping 24/7 on Amazon and you don't pay your rent, that's a consequence.
Yeah.
You might need to take a look at it.
Yeah.
If you're spending 23 hours a day on your phone and scrolling and not being productive in your life, that's a consequence. So I think anything that we do in excess, we have to take a look at.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And I think, to be honest, I've always said this, I think the phone is one of the most addictive things on the planet, because we all have one in our pocket, and we all, a couple weeks back, I really looked at how much time I was spending on it, and it blew me away.
Yeah, it's jarring.
It's jarring when you do that, because I didn't even know, I'm an older person, but I didn't know that function was there, and somebody told me about it, and I looked, and I was like, man, I spend a lot of time on this thing. I got other things I can do. I want to be more productive, so I had to cut back. I really did. And you can go down a rabbit hole for hours on like.
So anything can be addictive.
Yeah.
Going to the gym can be addicting.
Absolutely.
Hanging out with your buddies and anything can be addicting. There's behavioral addiction and then there's chemical addiction. But at the end of the day, the common denominator is you.
Yeah.
And there is brain function, dopamine and serotonin are the two chemicals responsible for addiction. And MRIs, look it up, Google it.
Yeah. And that's why it's important for us to, whatever we're addicted to or getting treatment for, we're going to transfer that onto something else. So we have to be careful and really regulate, you know, and do everything in moderation. If you're an addict like me, you know, I got to do things in moderation. I'll go to excess with anything. You know, anything. So I have to watch it, you know, and be careful. But yeah.
Probably a lot of people are thinking about their kids right now too, with like gaming addiction, phone addiction, internet, texting with friends, having their phone with them all day at school. Then this is the first generation that was born with technology in their hands.
Absolutely.
And it's a phenomenon right now that we all have to recognize and just be aware of, and people are like, well, I'm restricting their access, and there are bad people in the world that want access to our children, unfortunately. But yeah, just bear in mind that it is their social system. That's where everybody is meeting now, is on gaming and on social media, and hey, I texted you, and kids are in group chats and all the different apps. I mean, it's we're against this, and kids, you know, we put technology in their hands at really early ages, and so as a collective, it's our responsibility to recognize that, holy cow, this is happening, and educate on, and especially now in this environment with just all kinds of, gosh, the news.
Yeah.
It just feeds you.
I know.
Have grown-ups that can't control it.
I know.
Kids, and we're asking kids to be responsible with the information that's coming. You have a computer in your hand 24/7. Be responsible. Come on.
Yeah. The internet is a powerful thing, and it can be a great tool. It really can. But like Virginia said, there's also a bad side to it, and we got to be careful with a lot of misinformation. We was just having a discussion the other day about some of the changes in the government and stuff, and just anybody with a phone and can just put out any information they want, and it's just it is real scary. It's real scary.
It's so hard to tell, like, what is the truth and what's not the truth anymore.
Yeah. And I just seen this thing this morning on how they're doing taking a celebrity video and adding AI to it and make you think that these people are endorsing
Yeah.
this or that. This AI thing is going to change the
Oh
world.
my gosh.
It's going to change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's easy to get addicted to this stuff, which is, and we're full circle
Yeah.
on addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so we have so many things to talk about on Midweek Vibes, and I think that this really was just our introduction video and just welcoming you guys. Today is our first day doing it. It's exciting. We've got lots of things to talk about, lots of guests coming, and again, we just want to preface, this is for entertainment purposes only. We want to make it fun. We also want to just put information that we have. People can't access. Not everybody can access us. And combined, good Lord, we have been doing this a long time.
A long time, yeah.
Like almost 40 years combined experience with your
Absolutely.
experience, your lived experience,
Absolutely.
and professional experience.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we've got a lot of information, good information that we can put out into the world, and it's just we just want to educate everybody on what this stuff is and give a platform to some free information if
Absolutely.
you can't get it otherwise.
Absolutely. And I was just live on TikTok while we was talking about it. And I great, highly intelligent says, I think many people would do anything to stop the emotional pain. And that's so true, right? And we wish to escape ourselves, if only for a moment. And that's addiction, you know?
Well, let's talk about escape for just a second, because
Yeah.
we might have a few more minutes here. Let's talk about escape.
Yeah.
Because as therapists, we want you to sit in the emotions. I don't
Absolutely.
want you to escape. I want you to meet your edges. I want you to understand what got you here. Like, what are you running from? And how about it? What if we were just to sit in anger for just a minute?
Absolutely.
What the heck is making you so mad?
Absolutely.
What if we were to sit in fear for a minute? What exactly are you afraid of? And the only way you're going to figure that out is to meet it where it is. And okay, anger, as an internal family systems therapy. And again, this is not therapy,
Right.
but a motto is, if you could pick up your emotion and sit it next to you as if it were you're just sitting next to a bench and saying, okay, anger, what?
Right.
What do you want?
Right.
Why are you here?
Right.
And how do I get rid of you? Because you are an unwelcome guest in my head.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we don't want people
No.
running and escaping. And the thing that you're trying to get free from by using or doing addictive things or not paying attention is the very thing you're going to get more of if
Absolutely.
you don't sit in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, for the first 2 years of my recovery, I couldn't cry. I didn't get
I
the,
meet so many people that can't be
Yeah.
in their emotions.
I couldn't feel highs. I couldn't feel lows. I just was like, okay, if something good happened to me, I'd be like, oh, cool. If something bad happened to me, I'd be like, oh, cool. And when the floodgates opened, that first cry, man, it was like the weight of the world off my shoulders. And it's important for me to feel, to understand what being happy feels like, what being sad feels like, what anxiety feels like. I'm nervous about this. And they also tried to put me on a lot of medications in the beginning, which I did try because, I thought it would help. And, I've been off of them, and I do get anxious, but that's okay.
Medications are a bridge,
Yeah,
not forever.
yeah. But I also...
But we're not giving medical advice.
No. For me, I just felt like it still kept me from feeling and still kept me from understanding what I'm going through and what emotions I need to feel. So for me, I was able to, and that's the greatest thing that happened to me. Now I feel things. I get happy, I get sad. And so I'm real happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we want people. Recovery is feeling. You're going to have to feel. And there's a book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell that kind of maps out the feelings and the emotions that we have, and there are over 350 kinds of emotions.
Wow.
And we we don't even know what we're capable of. And there's happy, sad, mad. I'm just okay. I'm fine. Everything's fine. You're fine. I'm fine. We're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a handful of emotions that we identify just in our day-to-day, just moving around. But really, like, I didn't know what it was like to be cheated on until it happened.
Mm.
So I didn't know what emotion was going to show up until it happened. You didn't know what it was like to be an addict until it happened.
Absolutely.
You didn't know what it was like to be a therapist, and me either, until it happened.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to meet in the world, and escaping those things. If it's coming at your door and it's knocking at your door, it's because you're ready to go through that process and learn that lesson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said. Absolutely. Gotta go through it to understand what it is.
I say to my kids all the time, and they hate it. Look, the only way through it is through it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's going to be some things you're going to have to go through, but you got to go through it to get through it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, what else? Do you know what I'm learning about this room?
What?
I am freezing.
You're freezing?
I'm freezing. Yeah.
Okay.
James just lost his life.
Lost my
It's off to
life.
the left of you.
Lost my life.
Yeah.
But this is real life, you know.
Yeah.
I was just, and that's part of, part of this interacting, and as we get more, obviously, there's only a few people on there, but I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get questions and things like that. So, and just part of promoting it too. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this in the universe and see what happens.
Yeah.
And for those of you that know us and know our work, we are always open to having like a forum conversation where you guys in the field, addiction recovery, come in, share your stories, interact with us, talk with us. But we weekly are going to have a different topic that we're going to talk about. Today was just kind of go with the flow,
yeah.
and see what we came up with.
We got to lock down the time so they know too. What time? We got to lock down it.
Oh, we're only going to be here for like about 45 minutes a week.
So Wednesday at what time?
Oh, Wednesdays at 6.
6?
Yeah.
In p.m.?
Yeah.
All right, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Columbus time, Eastern time.
No, wait, we said 5 because you've got a men's group happening at 6
5
on
o'clock.
Wednesdays.
Okay. 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, we will be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a men's group
Men's
on
group come
Wednesdays at
6. Yeah.
And I have a women's group on bi-weekly, so maybe we'll talk about that next week, our programming and the groups coming up, because we are starting an addiction recovery group, a men's group, a women's recovery group. Women's recovery on trauma and narcissistic abuse, we see a lot of that. Both of us, we work in mental health, domestic violence, anger management, addiction recovery, mostly adults.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got tons and tons and tons of stuff to come. That's a good topic.
Yeah. And if you're from the area, we'll have more about the programming and information that if you want to join a group or whatever you want to do. But we have a lot of support groups coming. So. Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with us today. And there's meet us here every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. It's behealthyforlife.com. And our cell phones are direct if you want us to work with you or a family member. Anytime you feel you're not safe, there's always 911 or 811 for mental health. And if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, there is a way to send us information. You can find our groups or our pages on Facebook, social media, Instagram, TikTok. Are you on TikTok? Is that what you're live?
I am live on TikTok right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do they find you?
James Journals on TikTok.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you can always send us a message through our Facebook page, or our website, behealthyforlife.com.
Yeah, and if you have topics, we'll discuss those too. Yeah. So.
Well, thanks everybody.
Remember, it's the first one, so we're getting it. So just be patient.
Yeah. All right.
But I think it's just organic. You just talk, and that's the realest things. And don't force things, and we just talk, and we'll just continue out. Midweek Vibes. See you later.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right, live. Thank you for everybody that joined, and hope to see you next week, Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, and we'll continue the conversations. Come with questions or comments or whatever you feel, and thank you for the comments I did have today and the questions. So, see you guys next week.